local government chairman, your state governors, the same way you're calling on the federal government, so that they let you in on what they are doing with the money they get every month. So they disburse 1.14 trillion naira, generally shared between federal, state, and local governments. Well, I'll let you in on the details and sharing formula. You remember the Uniport student, I think medical student or science student or biochemistry student that was brutalized and butchered by her husband, by her boyfriend, dismembered by her boyfriend. I think she's a nursing student or so. Yeah, so that case was adjourned and to June. We'll get details of that. We thought to bring you update of that. But going straight to more insecurity issues, gunmen kill security guard, abduct son's sister in Oyo State. Sad. What about student loan? Student loan to start with federal institutions. Nigerian government says so. And guess what? It's going to start sooner than you imagine, right? So the federal government says Tinubu's decision will push Nigeria to prosperity. This is credited to Ganduje, the party's national chairman. And Wike's wife elevated to appeal court bench. CJN's daughter-in-law to FCT High Court. You could say Wike's wife elevated to appeal court bench, while the CJN's daughter-in-law has been elevated to FCT High Court. Of course, okay. We'll let NJC have submitted their names for these elevations, by the way. So we'll await the approval of the NJC. And moving on, Nigeria doesn't deserve royal visit. UK journalists slam Harry and Meghan for visiting Nigeria. Says Nigeria does not deserve royal visit, according to UK journalists. Lagos, these are the hot topics that we have this evening. But as usual, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back to give you details of these and more conversations. Dr. Deji is my guest this evening. He's a doctor of political science. He'll be joining us in the conversation this evening. Stay with us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. I'll be right back after the break. Stay with us.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. From the views on the street.
Listen to hot critical analysis and top trending topics of the day. Join Precious, Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on The Evening Rush.
All right, Legacy, welcome back. It's 9 minutes past 7 o'clock from us today. Let's let you in on the hot topics very quickly, or let's begin to dissect the conversations one at a time very quickly. Now, two senior staff of the National Assembly were in the early hours Friday, brutalized by operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, for allegedly not properly identifying themselves at the second gate of the complex. Now, the staff, Chris Odo, a deputy director, and John Nadi of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream, ran into trouble with the DSS operatives who have been drafted to man the entire National Assembly complex at about 11:45 a.m. when they were asked to identify themselves at the gate. Now, the DSS officers claimed that the staff could not properly identify themselves, but just flashed the identity card at the gate. Why could just flash ID card? name your nomenclature. The operatives therefore forcefully blocked the staff when they attempted to proceed to their offices at the White House, a section of the National Assembly complex. Now, in the ensuing altercation, the National Assembly staff were assaulted by the security operatives, while other workers watched helplessly because what did they want to do? Efforts made by the passers-by to resolve the situation and got the DSS operatives, who, after being joined by 4 other of their colleagues of other DSS guys, started rough handling the staff and any other person who tried to broker peace. Plus the people where they come to be, plus people where they mean to beat, plus people where can't say I beg na no do no vex. They beat everybody join. Now the operatives dragged the 2 staff from the linking point, which is about 125 meters distance. The incident attracted the sympathy of staff of the Unity Bank, United Bank for Africa, and Senate Committee on Public Accounts and journalists in the state's Senate Press Center, whose offices were in the area. Miffed by the embarrassing scene, staff of the National Assembly from various offices at the White House, including the mace bearer in the Senate, spontaneously gathered at the front of the DSS office to demand the immediate release of the 2 staff. It took the intervention of the Divisional Police Officer of the National Assembly, Alex Anagu, and the Deputy Clerk of the Senate Legislative, Mrs. Iloba Isabella, who calmed frayed nerves as they appealed to the irate workers to go back to their offices. Now, amidst the crisis, John Enadi stormed out of the DSS office located underground and started shouting solidarity songs, and was immediately joined by other workers who were still hanging around to see the outcome of the confusion. So, bottom line, it was a crazy situation. They flashed the ID card. Perhaps the DSS operatives were not patient enough to look at the ID card to know that, oh, these are staff of the National Assembly. Now, chanting, "We no go gree, we no go gree," the Irish staff marched to the office of the Clerk of the National Assembly to register their grievance. But he was yet to arrive before they were dispersed by the DPO, who appealed to them to calm down. Becoming down, brothers. In the past 2 weeks, the National Assembly management has replaced its official security arm, Sergeant-at-Arms, who are familiar with the staff and legislative aides and other personnel, with DSS operatives who are daily having altercations with those accessing the complex. You may be wondering why there is beefed up security in the National Assembly. Wow, your guess is as good as mine. You also remember that within the past 2 weeks, so the same National Assembly just streamlined the number of media houses that should cover proceedings in the National Assembly, where they stopped the likes of the News Central, STV, that is Silverbird Television, and some other stations, some very known televisions. They stopped them from covering proceedings in the National Assembly. It was just, some other media houses, including one very new station that we don't even know about, was, happened to be lucky to be part of those to cover proceedings. We'll let you in as more stories unfold from the National Assembly. I'm very sure that my guest, Dr. Deji, is listening, and of course, you would have him react to this conversation. Now, I told you yesterday that Senegal's newly sworn-in president visited the country, right? So, now, Bassirou Faye says he can rely on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's experience and wisdom and provide good leadership to keep countries in the ECOWAS united and peaceful. Mr. Faye said this when he was received by the Nigerian president at the presidential villa in Abuja yesterday, Thursday. Mr. Faye acknowledged Nigeria and Senegal's shared values, ideals, and challenges, emphasizing that both nations have had good relations since 1960s. Now, the good relations we have, quoting him now, and the relations between our private sectors should be beneficial to our countries. The Senegalese president called for the reactivation of the Nigeria-Senegal Joint Commission to strengthen bilateral relationships or relations in diplomacy, trade, and other spheres. Speaking on ECOWAS, the Senegalese president said, with Mr. Tinubu's wisdom and experience, relations among member states would be strengthened to advance the community. Let me just stop it there. Okay. And I go to another conversation very quickly before I calling on my guest. I'm sure he's standing by. So, how are you all faring with the new tariff by GoTV DSTV? You recall that all of you have been complaining when they increased their prices to about 25%. By the way, they seem to have done us a lot of favor, because the complaint is that, guess what? Electricity tariff increased by 330%. Cost of diesel and all that is on the increase. And we only increased our prices by just 25%. It's not like we even followed how expensive things are in the country. Well, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, in this report, FCCP, is said to have on Thursday did not oppose the recent price hike on tariffs and cost of products and services by MultiChoice Nigeria Limited, the owners of DSTV and GoTV. Now, FCCPC said this through its lawyer, Nikiomari Abeki, before the 3-member panel of the Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal, CCPT, sitting in Abuja. Thomas Ukuson chairs the 3-member tribunal. The CCPT had on April 29 restrained MultiChoice from increasing its tariffs on the DSTV and GoTV packages scheduled to take effect from May 1, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice filed by one Festus Onifade. Now, the tribunal, presided over by Saratu Shafi, gave the interim order following an ex parte motion moved by Ejiro Awari Toma, counsel to the applicant, Mr. Onifade. CCPT therefore directed all parties in the suit to appear before it on May 7 at about 10 a.m. for the hearing and determination of the motion in notice. But MultiChoice, through its lawyer, Moyoshore Onigbanjo, filed a preliminary objection, praying the court to decline jurisdiction in the suit. Mr. Onigbanjo argued that such a price dispute case had been decided before in favor of his client, MultiChoice. However, Mr. Onifade, in his response, urged the tribunal to discountenance the company's objection and direct it to pay 10 billion naira or any amount to the panel might deem fit, rather, in the circumstances, for deliberately disobeying and failing to comply with the interim order. But nothing was done. When the case was called on yesterday, Mr. Onigbanjo tendered and adopted the previous judgment of the tribunal in another suit as exhibited alongside his applicant. So bottom line, as it is right now, Nigerians are helpless because the price is up. It is up. It's not coming down. In fact, FCCP's counsel Abeke told the CCPT that the agency was not opposing MultiChoice's preliminary objection, according to the lawyer, to the extent no process or counter was filed to the motion of the defendant. You'll recall that this is not the first time that there's been price hike and complaint about arbitrary price hike in the services of this particular company. But then again, it looks more like Nigerians are helpless, because when complaints are made, even there was a time the matter was even discussed in the Senate, but it looks like nothing came out of that case while it was discussed. So what is the fate of Nigerians, you may want to say? Okay, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But I'd like to call in my guest, Dr. Deji, to join me in the conversation. Let's know what he's got to say about these and other issues that we have raised tonight. All right, let's see if he is ready to join us in the conversation. But at the meantime, let's quickly let you in on other stories so that he can react to as many of them as possible. Now, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Bagudu, has said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's economic reforms have started bearing fruits. Now, he told newsmen today, Friday, in Abuja, that the measures had restored faith in the country's economy. A statement by Bola Adebiyi, his special assistant on media, quoted the minister as saying that foreign investors had renewed interest in Nigeria. Quoting it, he says, although the removal of petrol subsidy cost some pain, some, just small pain, the policy has increased the quantum and funds available to the 3 tiers of government to invest in critical infrastructure. Are you seeing them? The critical infrastructure will regenerate the economy before 29th May 2023. The finances of the government were fragile, and that's why we needed to do this. But let me just take a pause here. We already have Dr. Deji joining us. Dr. Deji, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Deji. I don't know if
to increase. I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Have you been following the conversation? Have you heard some of the headlines that I, narrated?
Yes, I've been following.
Okay. Let's have you take a peek very quickly. Let's know which of them you'd like to start reacting to before we move further.
Hello, are you there?
I am here. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. But things looking at some point.
Fortunately, all right. Let's see if we can reconnect with you, Dr. Deji. Would do well to reconnect with you just so that we have a smooth conversation, because we cannot afford to have a shorter conversation tonight. It's very important that we have a crisp, clear conversation. So whilst we try to do that, so that's the situation of the country. But then moving on, many may be wondering, okay, so the reason, the policies of the president is yielding fruit because we have enough money to share now between the three tiers of government. But how come we're borrowing 20 trillion naira from pension funds to, fund infrastructure, critical infrastructures? Some would say, as much as I do not have answers to that conversation, I'll let you in on the reaction of the Minister of Finance to that. Hello, good evening, Dr. Deji. Are you there?
It's better now. I can hear you.
It's better?
Hello?
Hello, Dr. Deji. Can you hear me? Is it better?
Yes, I can hear you, but I think that there's something wrong with it. There's a way it sounded there. Well, when you spoke at first, I could hear you clearly, but something came in along the line.
Looks like my village people from River State came to this line now. This is not good.
But let's just manage to do something.
All right. But do you think you can hear me better?
Okay, I think I can manage this.
All right. So first, let's say I'd like us to begin with. I was asking you to pick any of the conversations you'd like to react to, but I would rather we start with what Abubakar Bagudu said about the reforms, the painful reforms of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is yielding very positive results because we have enough money to share now. And I'm wondering, if we have so much money to share now, why do we have to borrow 20 trillion naira from pensions fund for critical infrastructure? As Wale Edun has allayed our fears that it's very safe for us.
First, let's start with the word painful reforms, if I'm to pick your word.
Yes, please.
Well, if we say
not my words,
reforms,
not my words, the words of the minister. Those were not my words, but the words of the minister.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Oh. Well, if you can hear me, let's just start with the word painful reforms. Now, the word painful reform, if you say painful reform, that means he has generalized that the reform, first, there are reforms ongoing. Two, the reform is painful. First, are there reforms going? Yes. But the reforms painful? Yes, but not for every Nigerian. The reform so far has been painful largely to the poor because I've not seen the way it has affected the political class. The National Assembly, members got, brand new SUVs when the nation is, is bleeding economically. There is this proposal for yachts at some point by the presidency. The president has been moving from one country to the other. So he said that he wants to reduce the number of entourage that he takes around when he travels, but whether he will be able to fulfill that is because Buhari promised the same. So there are reforms. The reforms are painful, but it has been mostly painful to ordinary Nigerians. Now, let's now dive further to see whether the reform, will yield good fruit. First, as we are talking now, the reform is not yielding any good fruit for the Nigerian masses, as I'm talking right now, because the reform has only been yielding good fruit for the government, because the government has more money. But the government has more money. The reform has brought pains to Nigerians. The bread you are buying for 500 naira before is now sold for 1,215, and you are still receiving the same salary. So you ask yourself, a government that is receiving more money from the first month in office, if you remove first subsidy from the first month in office, and you are earning more money, and a year in office, you have to find it reasonable to review the salary of the people. That means you are intentionally inflicting pain. You derive pleasure in inflicting pain on Nigerians because naturally, your economics, you have access to the best economics as a government. They should have told you that once you increase the pump price, definitely the pain will be monumental on Nigerians. There's going to be inflation, and people are still receiving the same salary, and that is why you don't need to go to the street. Just look around you. Look around your community, your environment while driving, you see monumental poverty written boldly in people's faces. Because if you are receiving 10,000 naira before removal of fuel subsidy, when fuel was less than 200 naira, and now fuel is, about 600 naira, and you are still receiving the same 30,000 naira, and you will commute, to work, and you will buy, rice, garri, you pay for electricity. Even electricity has been increased, despite the fact that there's no electricity anywhere. So the reform is painful, but the truth is, whether it will yield good fruit, if successive Nigerian government is anything to go by, it won't yield good fruit at the end of the day. I give you an example. When Goodluck Jonathan removed fuel subsidy at the time, government said they will roll out buses that it's going to yield good fruit for Nigerians, it's for the benefit of Nigerians. Rather for Nigerians to benefit, they are suffering. What are we even saying? The first subsidy they said they removed, that first subsidy is a scam. There are what's on the street now that government is paying, first subsidy. And I said it, I think I said it on this platform, that you see, first subsidy cannot go away within the Nigerian political circle. You know why? It's because of the sense of entitlement, the mentality. The Buhari boys profited immensely from first subsidy. The Jonathan boys profited immensely from first subsidy. The Yaradua boys, the Obasanjo boys, first subsidy has created emergency billionaires, into the country. You now expect the Tinubu boys, the Lagos boys, who know how to spend money. If the Katsina boys, the Daura boys can benefit allegedly from first subsidy, if people in the Buhari circle can benefit from first subsidy, in the words of the president that it is a scam, it is only benefiting a few people. If those people can benefit, you now expect the Lagos boys, the Lagos big boys that know how to spend money, that know what they use money for. In a presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he himself is a spender. You now expect that there won't be first subsidy. We must be deceiving ourselves. So whether anybody likes it or move from 200 naira to 600 naira, first subsidy will come back. And why won't there be first subsidy anyway? The fall of the naira. If you look at the petroleum industry in Nigeria, we have crude, but we don't have refinery. So we sell the raw crude for all these multinational oil companies at cheap price. Then they now go to their country to refine it and sell it back to us at exorbitant prices. So now that they are selling it back to us, that means we need dollar to buy it back from them. And if what dollar is staying now, over 1,500, as at when the fuel subsidy was removed, that Bola Tinubu got there, but dollar was about 700. Now dollar is about 1,005. What do you expect? Of course, there will be first subsidy because government has to subsidize it to be able to meet up based on the current exchange rate. So government is earning more, but if you look at it indirectly, they are also spending more based on the volatile exchange rate. So the reforms are painful, but the truth is they won't go away anytime soon, and Nigeria apparently has nothing much to benefit from it. That is all just they will hear. Right. Enjoy. As the president been enjoying.
So that means you do not believe that it's yielding fruits already.
Sorry, I can barely hear you. Sorry.
Oh my goodness, I don't understand what's happening. So you do not believe that it is yielding fruits? Is that what you're saying, Dr. Deji?
Do I? Sorry, say that again.
I said you don't believe that these painful steps are yielding fruits already.
I don't believe they are yielding fruits. The fruit that they say this kind of thing yields, it's in various folds. Fruit for the government is different from yielding fruit for the masses. I'm talking about yielding fruit for Nigerians. The government has more money. Fine. But as that more money translates into better life for Nigerians? No. So if you ask me that is it yielding good fruit for the political class, yes. The political class has more money to share. State allocation. They have more money to distribute. The National Assembly has more money to buy luxury cars. They have more money to renovate the National Assembly complex. But now look at the people who government is meant for. Government evolved because at a point in time, life was short, nasty, and brutish. So government now evolved as a solution. to bring sorghum. And we have two types of sorghum. We have the natural sorghum and we have the spiritual sorghum. The spiritual sorghum is the one you get when you go to church, because man's problem is in two folds. It's either natural or spiritual. So when you have anything spiritual sorghum or any spiritual problem, you go to the church to seek spiritual sorghum. The natural sorghum is to be provided by the government. So that is why you look up to government for electricity, you look up to government for security, you look up to government for social equality, you look up to government for improved economy. Those are natural sorghum that will make your life meaningful. But in Nigeria, because the natural sorghum is, has been eroded, has been dead and buried, people now go to church seeking the natural, seeking the natural from the spiritual. That is why you see that people will go to church and be praying to God to give them job. They will leave their government. They will go to church to say, God, protect me. They will leave the government that is supposed to provide security, whether because they've lost hope in the government or they are not even sure that the government can provide that security. That is why when people travel in Nigeria, everybody will say, let us pray, because they are not even sure they will reach their destination safely. But when they enter coach bus abroad, they don't even remember to pray. Why? Because they have trust in the government, that the government have provided security, and they will get there slowly and they'll get there safely. The network of roads are good. So the thing is, all these things that government is saying, I believe that if the government is serious, any reasonable government would have first touch the aspect of income of the people. And don't forget that even if you touch the aspect of the income of the people, there are the private sector. You can't determine for the private sector largely. The state government is there, but at least lead by example. When you lead by example, then you can tell people that, okay, now follow my lead. Then the state government will begin to follow your lead. You can even make it a party policy, an APC policy, and that will be a point of campaign for you that we are the progressives. We are the welfareist party. We are the one that make life convenient for Nigerians. Look at how much we are paying. That will be a challenge for the PDP, and the PDP governors want to follow suit. Then the federal government and the state government can now put pressure with labor on the private sector and make sure that laws are enacted so that life can be comfortable for Nigerians. But a situation whereby to increase pump price, dollar has fallen in a country whereby you operate a foreign economy. What do I mean by a foreign economy? Look around you. All the things that you see around, how many are produced in Nigeria? That means you need foreign exchange for you to make those things happen in your country. All right. Dollar is expensive. Okay. And at the end of the day, it's expensive. You still want to increase electricity tariff. What kind of a country is this? And we say it to be benefit for the people. What kind of benefit is that? Is it when people die? So when people die, so people must endure till they die. So it's when everybody dies that they will benefit.
All right. So Dr. Deji, speaking about people dying, the government is set now to withdraw 20 trillion naira from the pensions fund. And they said they're using it for critical infrastructure. And I'm wondering, for the month of April, they're sharing about 1.4 trillion naira, for instance, in allocation amongst the three tiers of government. And since the inception of this government, because of the removal of subsidy, the three tiers of government have shared the most allocation. So if we have so much money to share, why do we have to borrow from the dying pensioners' funds to invest in critical infrastructure, which the minister is telling us is very safe?
I want to make it very brief because you have a line of interesting topics. You see, this borrow from pension funds. I don't know what is wrong with Nigerian government, but I can safely assert that, you see, when politics is too lucrative, when all you are after is profiting, this is what you get. The corruption in the system, is apparently monumental. If better Edu, a young girl of less than 40, became a minister for a few months and that monumental corruption can occur, if Yaya Bello, a governor, can take the embezzle allegedly that kind of money, imagine. And these people, they are the political class. So if you try to pick a set theory and you begin to investigate the son of the governors in Nigeria, which school are they going? Their daughter, which school are they going? What is their asset? What kind of lifestyle are they living? You will see where Nigerian money is going to. Nigerian money is not missing. We make so much, but we squander so much. So the country itself is only existing for the few. Less than 100 people. If you pick the president, if you pick his ministers, if you pick the governors, maybe, and some powerful people, maybe you have at max, 150 people. If you want to pick state commissioners, you have maybe less than 1,000 people. Go to the pockets of some of these people, not all of them, but majority of them, you'll find Nigeria's money there. So it's not that Nigeria is poor. Nigeria is not poor. Then we have a situation whereby we play politics around the clock. You say you don't have money. Instead of you, Nigeria is blessed with over 200 mineral resources. Do you know that clay that they just use in molding, clay that they use in molding all these pots that they use in the village of Oku. You know that clay is a natural resources. There are some countries that are looking for that they don't have. But go to your village, you will see clay, excess clay everywhere.
Wasting.
It's wasting. It's a natural resources. So rather than for you that you want to earn, if you are a serious country to devolve power and let every state begin to control their resources so that governors can earn and pay salaries and wages and provide infrastructure, you centralize a federal system, going against the principle of federalism. Now, when APC government campaign, they know these people are not dumb. They are not that. They know that restructuring is the solution to Nigeria's economy, political challenges. But, for political reasons, they didn't fulfill that promise. So instead of you to now explore what is at your backyard and give power to the governors, then they remit tax to the federal government. You want to wield all the powers. And these states now, they are now left in a state of broke, that every governor has to align with the presidency. They have to go to Abuja with their begging bowl. And that is why you have that every charlatan, ragtags, scallywag can wake up tomorrow and say, I want to become a governor. Because why? The task of becoming a governor is not enormous.
Dr. Deji, don't you think that word is a bit too harsh to use?
No, it's not harsh. No. It's not harsh. I said the Nigerian system now permits it in such a way that any ragtag, scallywag, stitch urchin can wake up and say he wants to become a governor. The truth is, am I lying? What is the qualification that is needed to become a governor? When you become a governor, what are the challenges you face that make you sit up? What are the qualities that make you deliver? Anybody can become a governor because you just go to Abuja every month and be collecting free money. But when you know that you need to harness your resources, you need to secure your state, you need to make sure everything is going fine. It is that money that you earn, that you pay your civil service. You won't even go near the governorship seat if you know you don't have the capacity to deliver. So we don't like ourselves in this country because we want power to be to be domiciled in the central. This is not the days of the military. This is democracy. There should be devolution of powers. But rather than that, we now keep power at the central and now make sure that people that are supposed to benefit from that devolution of powers, which are the masses, are now suffering. And we like it like that. And unfortunately, we have citizens in Nigeria that are docile. They are either docile or disoriented. They like it that way. They see the chains in their hand. They see it as bangles. They like it that way because come next election, that lawmaker that is not delivering for them, they will either vote for that lawmaker or watch that lawmaker reach his way into office. That governor that is not performing, that same governor will go and give them 2,000. You will see them line up inside the sun and inside the rain to keep voting. So we operate a system whereby we permit a lot of anomalies, and we are reaping the fruit today in terms of insecurity, in terms of poverty, in terms of high cost of living. The evidence are just all over around us, and not until we are determined to have that real change, not the kind of change Buhari promised, because you can't even blame this president much. In fairness to him, in fairness to Tinubu, I won't rate Tinubu as a super performer, even if it is not Buhari that handed over to him. If it is Barack Obama that handed over to Tinubu, I don't expect much from him. I don't expect him to be a super performer. The analysis is for another day. But the truth is, the kind of person that handed over to Tinubu has already bastardized the whole system.
we operated a system of tax and borrow, a system whereby we have very sectional people that are super ethnic, people that are ethnic like never before. You have them occupying national positions. So instead of them, there was a time in the Buhari government for like 6 months, we are just talking about cows. And you expect that S-men will be ravaging farmland and you won't buy food at expensive rate now. So, in fairness to Tinubu, I can't blame him for some things, but his policies himself is not helping matters. He himself is not going all out after the people that ruined the Nigerian economy under the Buhari administration. He's been trying to play this political safe game. He's only going for scapegoat. Emefiele. The truth is, we know ourselves.
So you think Emefiele was just a soft target?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Do you think Emefiele was just a soft target? You think the president is not going for those who actually, committed more serious offenses?
See, the president, for him to convince me that he is serious, he should go after people that benefited from the fraud in fuel subsidy. It is not abnormal for government to subsidize. Go to US, UK, they subsidize education, they subsidize health. It is not an abnormal thing for government to subsidize. In fact, government must subsidize because fingers are not equal so that everybody can have access to the goods and services. But when you say fuel subsidy is a fraud, and you have the sovereign power as a government, and you have not bring those fraudsters to book, what are you telling me? So in other words, you have failed to bring fraudsters that benefited billions and trillions to book, and you are now making me a layman. You are now making me to suffer. You are now making me to buy fuel at exorbitant prices. And you now leave those boys to cut away with the trillions and billions, to be enjoying themselves, to be taking 16-year-old girls on holiday to Dubai, to be living inside yachts, to be living luxury lifestyle, to be wearing ordinary wristwatch of millions of naira. What kind of a government are you? No, you go after those guys, you go after them head on, you pursue them vigorously with all your power, might and
But Dr. Deji,
people suffer for the sin of the few. No, it's wrong as a government.
So Dr. Deji, if you can hear me, the majority chair, the chief whip of the Senate, Dr. Ali Ndume, has said that those petty corruptions are not corruption. One who steals 1 million, 10 million, a billion, except people steal up to 1 trillion naira. That's when you can actually say, okay, let's kill them because they've stolen a lot of money. How about that?
Well, the thing is, I disagree with Ndume because sin is sin. If you look at the Bible and the Quran, I have not seen any small sin or no sin. Thou shalt not steal. In the scripture is thou shalt not steal. The scripture doesn't specify that thou shalt not steal 1 million, but you can see 999,000. No. So if you want to operate a sane system, stealing is stealing, corruption is corruption, and people should be brought to book for it. But I feel sad in my body, soul, and spirit when I see that people that are facing serious crime for corruption are people that are not really in the book, in the good book of this government. And people that are in the good books of this government, you can safely point at 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 people that are embodiment of corruption. But they are working free. This is what happened under Obasanjo administration too. It's not just peculiar to the Tinubu administration. This is what happened during the Buhari regime too. So anti-corruption should not be, a class opposition fight. Like I was saying before you bought in, we know ourselves. When Buhari introduced the Naira policy, there must have been some backroom talks with Emefiele. If Emefiele had negotiated with the political guys to dabaru the Buhari policy and play ball with people in the APC that are contesting both at the gubernatorial and presidential level at that time, no matter what Emefiele have stolen, he will be working free by now. Of course, that's the truth. He will be working free by now. In fact, he may still be the CBN governor, or give him a greater appointment, or he will just make his way to be an ambassador in one European country and be enjoying all the loot. That is the reality of Nigeria. Emefiele is apparently suffering because he did not play ball. And unfortunately in Nigeria, we don't believe that you can do your job
diligently, you are either for me or against me. For example, if Precious Enyi is working in INEC, and these political guys know that you have a strong, you hold a strong position, they will try to come for you, they will toast you, they will lyrics you, they will want to spoil you with money, they will, in fact, they will just be blessing your mother anyhow, give that, unsolicited gift. All your family, they'll just be giving them scholarship just to get at you. But if you refuse to play ball, at the end of the day, you may eventually suffer for it. That is what I believe Emefiele is going through. Emefiele is not the only corrupt guy. No. And if you ask me, is Emefiele corrupt? Well, by all what government has been bandied around, and I can even assert that in Nigerian system, can you be a governor? Can you be a minister, a commissioner, and come and swear by the God of thunder that your hands are 100% clean?
Why the God of thunder, though?
You've never awarded fraudulent contract. So people that face trial are only the 4 guys, are only the guy that failed to play, are only the guy that refused, to align themselves in the. Now, what do you think will happen to Wike? Wike that is a minister now, Wike that is gallivanting around. If Atiku had entered as the president, if Atiku had won that election, this Wike that is causing trouble all over the place may perhaps be in prison by now. So you know that anti-corruption fight in Nigeria is just an elite gang war. There's no sincerity in this fight. It's just an elite gang war. Once you align, all your sins are forgiven. You enjoy the loot, and you live happily. And you live happily. So are we really sincere about the corruption fight? See, the money that went down under the Buhari government, the alleged anti-corruption.
Yes. Hello, Dr. Deji, are you there?
Buhari boys to Canada, you will collapse 5 times in 1 minute. If you see the amount of corruption, because every time they are borrowing. Where is what are you using this money that you are borrowing for? You can't see it. And if you look at the contract that is awarded in Nigeria, do your research, go and balance it with the contract awarded. You will see that on the same continent, for a country that have the same texture of soil, Nigeria's contract is like maybe 1,000 times the contract that they will award in another country. Despite the fact that we have the same climate, we have almost the same soil texture. So corruption is just an elite gang. And at the end of the day, not until Nigeria realize that what they have in their hands is not shiny bangles. It's not gold bangles. It doesn't have precious stones. No, they are chains. They are slave chains in their hands. When they realize, then there will be a social action to say, no, we don't want this anymore. They will begin to take voting, electioneering very seriously. But for now, Nigerians are not yet serious, sincerely.
All right. So Dr. Deji, let's go straight to the NJC as amid protests from various civil society organizations and individuals. The wife of Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Justice Nyesom Wike Eberechi-Suzette, was among the High Court judges recommended for elevation to the Court of Appeal by the National Judicial Council, NJC, today, Friday. Also, the daughter-in-law of Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Ariwola Oluwakemi Victoria, was also nominated as a judge of the High Court, Federal Capital Territory. You would recall that when hints of these 2 appointments were mentioned months ago, Nigerians raised a lot of started shouting. People were talking about it, that is this not corruption? If you're a CJN and your daughter-in-law is having an appointment which of course may not, because it's not deserving, but perhaps because of your position, as it were, is that not corruption? But it looks like it's already a thing, as the NJC has already approved, and of course is accenting and forwarding their names. Dr. Deji.
Well, I see it from 2 perspectives.
Okay.
Number 1, if there is a fair selection process, which I would suggest a selection process that can be fair, but if there is a fair selection process, I don't think if I
I'm fortunate to be the son of a chief judge, and I read law, and I passed truly, and I have been practicing genuinely. And if there's a fair selection process, my father being a chief judge should not limit me from being a judge as well. For example, my father is not a professor, and I don't think he can be a professor till he dies, not even, an academic at all. But if I go to school and I study in 3 continents to bag my 3 degrees, which is an attestation to my intellectualism, and I rise through the ranks through publications and research, if my father is a professor, should that stop me from being a professor if I truly merit it?
Okay.
The answer is no. But the problem is, in Nigeria, where we have the problem, if you see people that compete for this post, you will find that you'll be shocked that there might be people that are more super brilliant than these people that are selected. For example, in cases that are being reported in the media, I usually hear about the wife of Odili, Justice Mary Odili. I've never heard Justice Wike. I have never heard it,
Oh, well.
So
those of us from River State have heard a lot about her.
Say that again?
I said we've heard a lot about her, so it's okay. Go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Go ahead, Dr. Deji. Go ahead. I don't know why network will not let us have a seamless conversation. Go ahead,
okay,
please.
The thing is, I've not heard much of the wife of Wike as the first lady of River State. So, and you know that these cases, are always being reported, even, marital cases sometimes that are not supposed to make it to the media. If there's an interesting angle to it, it hits the media. We see it all on social media and everywhere. So I've not heard much of her as a lawyer. Then you ask yourself, how did she become a judge? So if it is through a fair process, fine. But what I can suggest is that let us have a process whereby before you become a judge as a lawyer, you won many cases. Now, let there be a peer review system. All of us are judges. Deji is a judge. Precious is a judge. Promise is a judge. If Deji have won more cases in the court of law, and the cases that he won went to the appeal court, Supreme Court, and Deji keeps winning, we can say that Deji is, apparently more intelligent than the rest. Let's make him a judge. That is a fair process. Now, if you are already a judge, before you are elevated to the higher court, your cases must have less obtainment at the higher court. In other words, if you are an high court judge, how many of the cases that you delivered on, that you adjudicate on, were passed to the appeal court? How many of them did the appeal court nullify? So if you have less nullification at the appeal court and Supreme Court, then you should automatically be the one to progress to the Supreme Court, because that means you are a judge with greater intelligence that is fair. So we should have a peer review system just as we have it in academics. When we want to publish a research paper, we should begin to have a judicial peer review system. And that peer review system should be transparent. So you can't do any magic. Once your cases, the case that you adjudicate on, goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court keeps nullifying. In short, the judges should be using this as a competition among themselves. If all of us are judges, and I have delivered 20 judgments, and the Appeal Court have only nullified 2. Precious has delivered judgment, and the Appeal Court has nullified 12. If you know the president, if you be the family of the Chief Justice, we automatically know that it is much that will be elevated from the High Court to the Appeal Court. So that kind of fair, transparent system will nullify favoritism. It doesn't matter whether you now be the son of the chief judge. It doesn't matter whether you now be the daughter of the president, or you are related to the president. That shouldn't be. You should begin to use a peer review system, and you know that when you go in there through a peer review system, you will deliver judgment accordingly based on your conscience, because you owe nobody no allegiance. But if it is one governor that go to the presidential villa to lobby your name. Of course, it becomes a quid pro quo kind of thing. You deliver me, I deliver you. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Then you begin to see that you deliver your judgment based on depth of gratitude. You deliver your judgment based on political patronage. And that is some of the things that is causing corruption in the judiciary. That is some of the things that is causing conflicting orders. That is some of the things that is causing conflicting judgment. That is some of the things that is causing conflicting orders in court of competent jurisdiction, in court of equal jurisdiction. So I think, summarily, that you being the family of a president or governor shouldn't stop you if you so merit it. But is there a merit system in Nigeria? No. Then we need to begin to imbibe the merit system to make sure that only those that deserve it, becomes a judge or are elevated to the higher court. Because after God, it is the judges.
All right.
It is the judges, especially in a constitutional democracy.
All right. So, Dr. Deji, just before I open the phone lines, because it's almost time for us to open the phone lines. So, our country, Nigeria, was insulted today by a UK journalist, a British journalist, as they call it. In fact, he said that Nigeria is not a country that should be endorsed by anyone. That, quoting him, he says, our royal family members will never set foot there. So the British media personality said as he gets salty over Harry and Meghan Markle's visit to Nigeria. During a recent tour, in fact, he said a lot, but I don't know if you can hear me, but let me quickly play a bit of the soundbite of what he said. Let me play a bit of soundbite of what he said so you hear what he said by yourself. Take a listen.
That country, there's industrial scale boiler rooms of people who are ripping off people around the world, internet fraud, wholesale internet fraud, defrauding old ladies, stealing identities, and none of that is ever prosecuted. Now, as we know, there he is on his polo pony playing in favor of one of his African charities. As we know, Prince Harry came back and said this country was not safe enough for him. He took his father's government to court over it. Eventually, a judge slapped him down and said he couldn't have a permission to appeal. Otherwise, he would have appealed. Now, he's gone to that country there where it's an extremely dangerous place. He had, admittedly, 4 burly bodyguards with him, but how he can maintain that the level of armed protection for him when he's in this country, and when we saw him here last week, he had very, very adequate protection.
They want to be adored and
I wish the network could allow me play that further, but bottom line, I'm sure you heard a few of what he said. I don't know if you can hear me, Dr. Deji. It's Nigerian. Yes, Nigerians have been reacted to that. So, okay, so let me just give you a bit of a background there to what he said. During a recent show focused on Harry and Meghan's visit to Nigeria, this particular British media personality called named Kevin O'Sullivan described Nigeria as a lawless country where female gender mutilation is rife, where women have no rights at all, and where children are kidnapped by Islamic terrorist groups. He also claimed that Harry and Meghan are making Nigeria look good, while Nigeria doesn't deserve looking good because it hasn't done well. And then he says, his co-panelist backed his conversation. That is Michael Cole. He said he's a royal commentator, by the way. He claimed that Nigeria veers with Johannesburg as a murder capital of Africa. Nigeria veers with Johannesburg as a murder capital of Africa. Cole also claimed that Nigeria defrauds British women seeking love, and nothing is being done about it, even in our courts. It is, however, interesting to note that, this particular post, as I said this particular company or the television station has all its posts, across all their social media platforms. But this particular interview, they ensure that it's not across, it's not posted in their television station. But Nigerians are already reacting to it. Isn't this a bit too harsh a word to use because a member of the royal family visited the country? Dr. Deji.
Well, the thing is, in all fairness, the sense of patriotism will be there for Nigerians. if you're a Nigerian, if a foreigner comes to speak ill about your country, you naturally feel bad, you are naturally defensive. But let's be objective and let's look at what the man has said. In fairness to him, some of these things that are said, are they not real? Are they not what we are facing? So if we can't speak up in our country and you won't be harassed by the police, and we have foreigners that have seen what we are going through and they are not speaking for us, shouldn't we at least keep quiet? If we can't applaud them, should we now rebuke them? In all fairness, if a politician, if a British media personality talk about killings in Nigeria, talk about S-men crisis and the lawlessness attached to it, is it a lie? In the true sense of it, is it lying? It is not lying. It is the truth of what Nigerians are facing daily. And when Nigerians can't even speak in their country, when they now see people that are fearless, that are not on the Nigerian soil, to speak for us, should we rebuke them? Then the comment, another thing is that the Nigerian government, successive Nigerian government, is always full of propaganda. You see people come to the media, and be telling all sorts of lies, all sorts of propaganda, painting black, white. The comment by those media personalities, for one thing, help us to know the true image of Nigerian in the eyes of the world. That is one fact. So we should applaud them that, thank you for the fair review. Thank you for the review. At least we know how we look in the eyes of the world. For example, if you want to leave your home,
hello, Dr.
Your mother tells you you are beautiful. Your uncle tells you, you are looking elegant. Your brother tells you, you are radiant. And you go outside and everybody is telling you, why are you so ugly? Why are you so ugly? Why are you so ugly? Shouldn't that tell you that, to sit down and look at yourself that, who should I believe? Am I not ugly? That means there must be some level of ugliness in me for people out there to be saying that I am ugly. So we shouldn't, throw away everything that, the British media personality have said. On the other hand, contrastingly, or if you permit me to say, however.
Okay, Dr. Deji, are you there?
Like how media portray it as if the coming of the prince and the Duchess of Sussex has done anything significant to Nigeria. No, they were fed in this country with taxpayers' money, the money of you and I. So you cannot come to visit a country. If Nigeria is such a theater of the absurd, they came and they left safely. They were secured with the military and police that we are paying with our tax money.
Hello, Dr. Deji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can I proceed, please?
Yes, please. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Oni of Ife, you've seen him travel before. Does he have such privilege? Obi of Onitsha, does he have such privilege? Emir of, is it Sokoto, does he have such privilege? No. So when they come here and we give them such privilege and we roll out our drums and we use our taxpayers' money, and all our dignities and important personalities welcome them, they should for once be appreciative in their life. In the true sense of it. Because it takes a lot to host people. And we should be grateful to God that nothing has happened to them. If anything had happened to them, Nigeria would have been, all over the news, as a country that is in chaos, that is in conflict. Are we in chaos? Are we in conflict? Yes, we are. But the truth is, we don't need exaggeration. We need them to be objective, not paint us as if, everywhere in Nigeria is in chaos or Nigeria is not worth visiting. Then on the part of Nigerian government, the way people are, are doing photo ops and of not being with them. If I can use street parlance, I hope those that host them, I hope they receive sense. Because I want to see a country whereby you will use that opportunity to take the prince and the prince and his wife to an important site, showing the damage that British did to Nigeria during colonialism. We have important sites that you can take them to and make them realize that this is what your forefathers has done to Nigeria. You know, by that time you were young or not born yet, but this is the impact of your ancestors, your grandfather, your great grandfather on the African continent, so that they can, when they get to position of authority, they can begin to favor Nigerians and Africans and not see us as idiots, because you cannot come to a continent and milk their resources dry and go and use it to develop your own country. And at the end of the day, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will come to the country. The country will still be generous to host them, to provide for them, to secure them. Then they go back home, and your media that has failed to report the anomalies, the wrongdoings, the evil that you've perpetrated on the African soil, will now be painting that same country evil, erasing the impact of their own great-grandfather, what they did in terms of slave trade, in terms of imperialism, colonialism, and now neo-colonialism. No, that is wrong. So everybody has his own, blame in this thing. So it is not wrong for the prince to say they want to visit Africa. If you don't visit Nigeria, where do you want to visit? It's Nigeria that have the numbers. It's Nigeria that can give you the publicity. It's Nigeria that have your time. It's Nigeria that, that have the hospitality, that can host you. It is Nigeria that will leave their citizens unsecured and deploy 1,000 soldiers to protect you. You can only have such privilege in Nigeria. So if you don't come to Nigeria, where do you want to go to? And the thing is, I would have loved a situation whereby the Nigerian government had sat the prince and his wife down and begin to negotiate trade deals for Nigeria. You are from the royal family. The royal family is the number one family in Britain. Now, this is what we are facing as a country. This is the impact of colonialism. We hope the day will come where all our artifacts that was stolen and taken to your museum will be returned. We hope the day will come whereby we will sit down as a country, as a continent, with the UK to begin to estimate the total value of the damage of slave trade, the total value of the damage of colonialism. How many people were taken as slave trade? How many years did they work for? What is the value of that money? If that money has been used to do business, what will be the worth now? Begin to pay it back to us. I want to see that happen. I want to see, a royal apology to the people of Nigeria. So as much as Nigeria is not secure, as much as Nigeria is the way it is, they shouldn't now come to rub it on our faces. It is not for the British personality to come and rub it on our faces, because they were likely the one that put us where we are now as a country. Okay. So it is not for them to come and rubbish it on our faces.
All right, Dr. Deji, thank you so much. Let me quickly run through the headlines for those who may just be joining us, Lagos. If you're just joining us, all right. So if you're just joining us, here are the hot topics that we've had today. Chaos at National Assembly as DSS operatives brutalized 2 senior staff. I did tell you that 2 senior staff of the National Assembly were today manhandled by the operatives of the DSS, who are the new people that are now in charge of the security in the National Assembly instead of the normal police guys that used to be there, because they just changed the security like 2 weeks ago. And that within the same period was when they, reduced or downsized the number of media houses to cover plenary in the National Assembly. A bit of drama happened today. But then still on the national, on other issues, I can rely on Tinubu's wisdom, experience, says Senegalese President Faye. He said so. And then I did tell you that FCCPC looks away as MultiChoice hikes DSTV, GoTV subscription prices. It be like saying nothing they happen. Hardship reforms painful but bearing fruits. Bagudu said so. And then it's safe. Nigerian government allays fear on 20 trillion naira pension fund that they want to borrow for critical infrastructure. They said, don't worry, it's safe, no problem. So says your Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy. FAC disburses 1.14 trillion naira or 1.14 trillion naira to federal, state and local governments in April. So your federal and state governments have collected money. Go and ask them what they did with your money, because they have collected some money. Please, they shared 1.14 trillion naira, right? And then moving on, mother of Uniport nursing student, court adjourns trial of boyfriend to June. Remember the young girl that was murdered and butchered in her boyfriend's house? Yes. Gunman kills security guard, abducts son's sister. in Oyo San, that is a senior advocate of Nigerian's sister in Oyo State. This is very, very disheartening. Student loan to start with federal institutions. Nigerian government says so that student loan will start with federal institutions. So we'll start with federal universities and polytechnics first of all with student loan. Tinubu's decisions will push Nigeria to prosperity. This is credited to Ganduje. And then you also heard that Wike's wife elevated to appeal court bench. CJN's daughter-in-law to FCT High Court. That's also in the news. And then I did tell you that, Nigerians don't deserve royal visit. UK journalists slam Harry and Meghan for visiting Nigeria. Lagos phone lines are open. Let's begin to take your thoughts and reactions while Dr. Deji listens in for reactions. I'm sure that you'd like to ask him some questions. 0700-903-903-903. That's the number to call. 0700-903-903-903. The WhatsApp line is 0817-175-6338. 0817-175-6338. Hello, good evening to you.
How are you doing, Precious?
I'm very well, thank you, Remy. You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, greetings to your guests. I quite
Dr.
agree
Deji can hear you. Thank you.
All he said. I think you earlier on you mentioned the student loan that is going to be implemented earlier than we thought. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I did mention that. Because it's just coming close now. It's closer to us than you imagine.
Closer.
Yes.
How much is being budgeted for that student loan? The last time I heard, 5 billion naira.
And they added another 5 billion, I remember now.
10 billion naira, of which 90 billion naira was spent on Hajj. What is the impact
to
of
subsidize Hajj?
To subsidize Hajj. Why 10 billion naira is being budgeted for the whole country, 36 states plus FCT? Are we serious as a nation? Precious, 90 billion naira is being wasted on Hajj. It's been wasted on Hajj. And 10 billion naira, they are even struggling to even implement this so-called student loan. From last year, June, they moved it to September, to October, to December, to January, to March 14th, then till next year. They are struggling to implement what affects the people in this country. But Hajj, they could waste 90 billion naira on Hajj without dragging as a nation, and we think we can move forward. The next thing, they will tell you to pray for Nigeria when it's October 1st, or be any other holiday. The clerics will tell you to pray for Nigeria. But we are taking decisions that is taking us back. Talking about the visit of Prince and Maku, I quite agree with the journalists to an extent. We don't deserve their visit. So you get, they are the host of angels. So we don't deserve to have them in our midst. So you get, so, and it's also our own fault too. Look at the way people showed up at that event. Should we have waited for them to come for us to realize that our military men who got amputated, who lost their arms, their limbs, should be catered for? Should Meghan and her husband have visited here for us to know that there should be a system that caters for our own men? Precious. We deserve that insult we got from that man, though. It is well deserved. We don't have a system that caters for the able ones, let alone those who are not able.
Thank you, Remy. Thank you so much.
Night.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Good night. Oh, wow. Okay, that was Dr. Deji. I don't know if you heard what he said. Did you hear everything he said?
Loud and clear.
You heard everything he said loud and clear?
Yes, sure.
All right, interesting. Because you may have to react to them later on. All right, let's go back to the calls. Hello, good evening to you. Oh, yeah, I lost that. 0700-903-903-903. That's the number to call. And 0817-175-6338. These are the numbers to call. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Yes. Good evening, sir. Nemeka from Ijibo, you're welcome. Go ahead, very quickly, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, my sister, for your good work, first of all. Prince, in terms of Prince and his princess, visiting us. I don't blame him coming to Nigeria. But before he's supposed to carry here, if for carry all the way his forefathers, the ancestors carry for here, go that way. If for carry them come. And as he come now, we will carry another one, give him. We just talk Mugu for this world. Because you know why I say we talk Mugu, precious. Our leaders are still Mugu to these people. That's why IMF, World Bank are telling us what to do today. So whoever is blaming that young man, maybe they no blame him. We should blame ourselves. We should blame ourselves as Africans, especially Nigeria, that claim that they know they carry last. Nigeria know they claim say they know they carry last. I'm telling every Nigeria today, especially the lawmakers, the leaders, that them as Nigeria as a country, we don't carry if there's anything will be last, past last, we don't carry them. But individually, we are trying not to carry last individually. God will keep on blessing us on that time. Apart from that one, Ganduje, where they tell us in principle, a policy will take us to promised land. Please, stretch us. You know, I have people calling you APC woman leader. Please help us tell Ganduje that all of us are 300. From a ticket that coming back is 5,500 I spent today, my sister. So tell that people say we don't have for patience, please. Let them go to work and do well so that we feel it. Thank you, my dear. God bless you.
All right, thank you so much. You don't have me say I be APC woman leader. Don't forget, say APC woman leader is the vex. Say no only rice and wrapper then gets. Now rice and wrapper will go chop throughout. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hello, good evening to you. I lost that 0700-903-903-903. Hello, good evening. Help me turn up the volume of your radio set, please. Hello.
Precious.
Sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. What's your name, sir?
Dr. Joe from Barega.
Joe from Barega, welcome. Doctor can hear you. Go ahead, but he may not be able to speak now.
Doctor, good evening.
He can hear you, but he may not speak. He's online. Just go ahead.
Doctor, I greet you again because you have given us a very wide knowledge of what is happening in Nigeria. But all the same, Precious, I'm asking you a question. All these things we continue to talk every evening. Are they listening to us? Before they will go and borrow 23 pension fund.
They can hear you very well, crystal clear.
Are you sure they are listening to us?
Very well, crystal clear. They can hear you.
This thing is getting out of hand. This APC regime, they are not doing anything. We are not seeing anything. Nothing for the poor man, nothing for the masses. Nothing. We just don't enter one chance, correct one chance. Nothing is showing. No change. No change. No, we're not going to collect any change with the motorway we enter. No change. They are not hearing what is happening in the economy. The economy is so poor. So things are so precious. Things are still going higher and higher. This stuff is so getting so higher and higher every day. And they are not listening. They are busy pursuing where they will get more funds here and there. No security in the north, where we are getting our food. No security in the land. Benue killing is almost every week. And these things continue to do. This man continue to scatter for where he will get money everywhere. If you get the whole money in this life, you will not die again. Thank you. Good evening, promise. Precious.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Unfortunately, if you have money, you still die. That does not stop anyone from dying. Else, we wouldn't have had some presidents and all that die, right? Welcome. I appreciate you. All right, let me run through some WhatsApp messages because I have loads of them. Oh my goodness, the calls won't let me. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Hello. Hello, are you there? Good evening. Good evening. All right, unfortunately, when you're ready to talk, please kindly call us back. Okay. Oh, dear. All right. Hello, good evening.
Oh, good evening. Thank God. This is first time. I mean, once and you pick it. How are you, Precious? I'm so happy.
I'm very well, thank you. Mr. Ola from Chicago, right? You're welcome, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
Thank you so much. Welcome, sir.
You are welcome. I greeted Darlington on his absence. And I greet your guests. Look, I don't know how you do your research to get your analyzers, how do I call it? I give them thumb up. And I give you thumb up. You are a good researcher. Precious, we can't blame those people, whatever the insult they pass to us. You know why? We have leaders who depended on those people. They believe that without them, Nigeria cannot do anything. If your guys can remember, when Abiola was campaigning, I quote, he said, if I become president of Nigeria, I'm going to sue all those countries for taking us as a slave, and whatever they took from our country, they are going to retrieve it back. But what happened to MKO? These countries, they believe that if Nigeria or Africa is developed, their country is under problem. They don't want the Africa to progress. Because if Nigeria is progressing or Africa is progressing, all of us here will be leaving. And to affect them negatively. That's what I can say, Precious. Have a nice weekend.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend, too.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sir. All right. Hello.
You.
Good evening. Good evening. All right. So, Dr. Deji, you've heard what quite a couple of guests said. From what Dr. Deji, can you hear me? Dr. Deji, can you hear me? Yes. All right. So you heard what some of our callers said from, I don't know if you heard all of them. I don't know if you also took notes. Would you quickly react so that we go back to more calls?
Some of your guests
yes,
said.
Please.
And I quite agree with their submissions largely, as regards their comment about the economy and what people are going through and all that. The truth is, you won't feel it if you are a politician, and even if you are, or maybe you are an entertainer or you are one big celebrity. But we've seen celebrities even come out, on social media foul that the country is hard, people are, begging them for money, they are spending so much to maintain themselves and all that. Now, if I can quickly use the time to touch on the DSS story that you mentioned. The DSS, harassing people, while they're harassing some of the staff that works at the National Assembly.
Yes.
Well, it's in two ways. You imagine that, is it even safe for you to get to the gate of the National Assembly and start presenting ID card? Can't the ID card be forged? Can't it be cloned? So we are still in a state whereby we are using ID card. ID card that makes people that you can easily breach the system if you maybe arrange one beautiful down to earth girl and you give her one ID card. The way the DSS guys will be admiring the beauty, they may not even be able to check the photo well or something. What if the girl is, is allegedly a suicide bomber? We need to be real with ourselves. What is the use of technology? Why is it that they can't digitalize the system in such a way that you don't need any ID card, you don't need any means of identification? Once you get there, just put your fingerprint. When you put your fingerprint there on the device, all your details will appear on the system, and it will appear that you are a staff. Why can't we have such a system, at least for staffs of the National Assembly, and we can have a gate, which is something like a quick pass for those staffs to gain access to the National Assembly and resume work on time. Why do we have to be presenting ID card? Then we can have another gate where people will be subject to thorough scrutiny. And one of the ways of subjecting them to thorough scrutiny is for them to still, you still have a pad in your hands that once they thumbprint their national information that they've submitted to the bank through NIN,
road safety, passport office. We have duplicate of our data.
Yes.
Whereby everything they will have access to it. So they don't need to over scrutinize once you put your fingerprint. For example, in the UK and some of these developed countries, when you go there, their immigration, they usually have something like a pad, like an iPad or of some sort in their car. They see you and they are suspicious of you. They don't even need to ask of your passport, because for you to have gained entrance into their country, you must have thumbprint at the embassy when you want to get visa. When they say come for biometric, it's for a purpose. It goes into their national database. If they give you the visa, immediately you thumbprint. They can see the status of your visa, whether you are whether you are staying in the country illegally or not. They won't even ask for your passport, just ordinary your finger. They can determine your stay, what you are doing in the country, the kind of visa you have, and everything. All the information comes out immediately. So if they can do that, if the UK can have that kind of a system to track illegal migrants, why can't we have that in our National Assembly to track workers, to verify the identity of workers? These are some of the things that the British media will see, and they will be abusing us. Then they go on, they paying us for body. The question is, are they lying? And now the presidency, at least they know the image of the country in the eyes of the world. So what is the purpose of technology? And if the humongous amount that was awarded under Lawan is anything to go by, which I'm sure Apabio now may be warming up to award another renovation, during his own tenure now.
Did you not hear that they complained that the renovation that even they just did, this one they just did now, that they don't like it was shoddy? I mean, why there were more funds allocated for that too?
I saw Ndume complaining. But the truth is, that complaint is what Apabio himself may rely on. He may eventually rely on it to declare another renovation with taxpayers' money. So all the money that were budgeted under Ahmed Lawan, just less than a year, just about a year ago. So that money, there's no biometric verification exercise for staff in that humongous money that Ahmed Lawan budgeted as the chairman of the National Assembly for the renovation. What a shame! What a pity that you now need to do that. And the DSS itself should be very careful. You see, when you are too aggressive, that is why police don't have respect in this country, as they should have. Because you know why? Police have too many bad boys. They have too many aggressive people in such a way that when they meet with you, the way they will treat you leaves a bad image in your heart. So what makes people, batter the image of the police in the eyes of the people is not the DSS is gradually going there. Impunity, harassment, because if people, there are ways, you should learn how to tame people in a soft way. You don't have to brutalize, you don't have to harass people, No. Don't they train them the soft way of taming people? Even abroad, when you commit serious crime, the police are trained to intelligently track you and tame you. Because why? They want you alive. It's when you are alive that you can feel the pain of the crime that you've committed. If they kill you instantly, you won't feel any pain. You won't feel the consequence of the action. But when you go through the legal process, you feel it. So all this aggressiveness, it is not aggressiveness that they use to police a community. It is not aggressiveness that they use to provide security. Nigerian security agencies, aggressiveness. That is absolute nonsense.
All right, thank you.
Do you need to brutalize people?
Thank you, Dr. Deji. Let's go back to our calls and messages. We have loads of messages to also react to. Perhaps I have to start with the messages right now. Thank you so much, Dr. Deji. All right, so to the WhatsApp messages now. Let me quickly run through them very quickly because we have quite a number of them. Prince from Ilasa says, Precious, should be this government wants to use 90 billion naira to pray in Saudi. Precious, this is just the beginning. Very soon, that critical infrastructure will be done using the pension of millions of Nigerians. Wow. All right. And then, good evening, beautiful Precious. Your guest, Dr. Deji, is on they say you're on another level with your very clever analysis. Well done. The problem with appointment of judges are exercises to influence 2027 elections. That's what this person is saying. He said what the Judicial Council should do or be doing is to stop frivolous ex parte orders and abuse of court processes. I rest my case. See why I sent in that message. And okay, I go to more messages. Patrick Onyanta says, good evening, Madam Precious. Nigerians government so-called reforms is purely a merry-go-round, especially within the petroleum industry. Their methodologies are always the same. They will create artificial strangulating scarcity. There will be panic buying. There will be more fuel to the... You said a lot. And he said, only for it to happen again, the governments need to reform next quarter. That is saying they will create artificial scarcity. The next thing, after Nigerians suffer, they will not increase the prices. That's what you try to say. Good evening, Precious. I can rely on Tinubu's wisdom, says Senegalese president. And I want to tell Senegalese president, sorry, because he has damaged his political career. Leo from Lagos. Why? Okay. And this here says, where is the lie in what the charlatan British media man said? All they mentioned are they not things happening in Nigeria that we all complain and cry about every day? But Nigerians on social media will be quick to go on rampage to damn everything he said. But then again, when charlatans visited Nigeria, when Charles visited Nigeria, why didn't those two British people lambast Charles then? But I blame Nigerian government who welcomed those two characters like they're some angels from heaven. All the good treatment they wouldn't give you in your own country, or they wouldn't give you in their country. You roll red carpets and throw flowers on their feet, treating them with so much needless class and undeserving luxury, hypocrisy and foolish. Oh, you said a lot. Let me just end it there. The mayor from Ikotu, that is Martins Duru, says, Precious. Okay. All these so-called politicians have made up their minds against the citizens of Nigeria, no matter that what we feel or talk against them. In fact, the worst part of them are the National Assembly and the Judiciary. If our Judiciary and the National Assembly can sit up, the executives would have no choice than to follow and do the normal things. That's what Martin said. And then, okay, all right. Good evening, Madam Precious and Dr. Deji. Nana from Okafor. Last. They want to steal our parents' pension and give to the children, to their children as student loan. That's what you said. Calm down now. You know they're that deep now. But let me just take a few calls. Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, hi, Precious. This is John.
All right.
How you there? How you doing today?
John from Berlin, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. How are you? Go ahead.
I'm okay. See, personally, in my own opinion, Precious, I'm not bothered anymore with what Nigerians are facing or whatever, because that's the choice they choose. So next time, if you want to think about your future in the next 4 years, think carefully before you vote. And I'm done telling people to vote, because it's who you vote for. These are the things that their perception and their mindset, they tell you things. Religion has overshadowed critical thinking. 90 billion for jihad, 10 billion for student loan, and you want a prosperous future for Nigeria? Come on. I don't know what to say about that, but good luck to Nigerians where tomorrow, because my problem is tomorrow, you will still see people, because we have 70% of Nigerian population as youths. You will still see those same youths again, going to the, this is APC, we'll vote APC, we'll vote APC, but they are not considering their future. They are considering a party. Tomorrow they'll come, they cry. Me, I don't pity for anybody again. No. If you want to vote for your future, think twice before you vote. That's what I have to say. But however, about this Prince Harry and Meghan, first of all, I want to take this from two dimensions. The reporter, the journalist, I don't blame him in the fact, but what I would say is, whatever all those things he said is a matter of fact. What he said is a matter of fact. But where I disagree with him is the comparison between us and South Africa. South Africa is worse than Nigeria, because I just came from South Africa, and I cannot walk freely in South Africa. You will get robbed or stabbed. If I'm walking, and I was in Johannesburg, they walk out for streets alone, they will just stab you, collect your phone and collect your chain. The high rates of rape in the world happens in South Africa. So South Africa is more dangerous than Nigeria. At least Nigerians, they have freedom to move. But whatever the journalist says is true. Because why all these things is coming back and front is because there is a problem within the royal blood, the royal circle. Because Harry this guy don't come up for the royal family. So that's why there is a backlash back and front. Because Charles recently went for a visit, just like him too. He was not welcome the way he was welcome. So this is a matter of enviness for where this Charles and Meghan did for the public. So they are just envying him because Nigeria made them look good. So they are angry that Nigeria make them look good, and they were happy, they were overjoyful, and they feel at home. But they said, why can't they do it like that in the UK and everything? So all this comparative analysis, hatred and envy came in and everything. So I'm just waiting for the step-down conversation.
Thank you, John. Yeah. So when you mentioned the headquarters of rape, I thought you would have also mentioned India. I mean, why do you leave India when you say South Africa? Because India is...
No, I'm just saying South Africa is number
in
one.
Africa, okay.
Yeah,
are you sure?
No, in the world.
Have you been to India? Brother, have you been to India? Don't even say. All right.
Yes, I've been in India. I've been in India, yes.
So you think India isn't as bad as South Africa in terms of rape?
No, the reason why we think about India is because of their population.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, John. Hello, good evening to you. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yes,
madam.
welcome, sir.
Hello?
Yes, please, welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Joseph.
Joseph from where?
I'm calling from Alatia.
All right, just make it quick, please. Very quickly. Go ahead.
Your guest today is excellent. Hello?
Yeah, you answered you. I said thank you. You said the guest is excellent. Oh dear, I lost you. I appreciate you. All right, let me just run through those messages. Babiji from Oshodi says that God will surely bless Ona for speaking the truth at all times. Deji, please, I want to ask, where is all the recovered Abacha's loot and how much was recovered since the reign of Abdul Salam Abubakar to Obasanjo to Late Radra to Jonathan to Buhari, or massively collected by Buhari, and now Tinubu? How about the ones of Diezani Maduike's loot? As PM EDC, please, where are all this money and what are the what was the account like? Or what did they use it for? Is that what you're saying? All right. Harry Ogada from Pan Group says, if the National Assembly can't call DSTV to give its customers cards, pay as you go, but allow them to exploit Nigeria, they increase tariff at will, even when there is no electricity to watch the country. That's what you said. And then very quickly, Tony Anele says, Deji has made my day on all he has said today. As much as I don't know the significance of royal visit to Nigeria by British First Family, our patriotism should be protected in responding to the insult by the British media personality. I want to believe that reparation was discussed by the Nigerian authorities during the visit. Again, I want to believe that Precious was just pulling Dr. Deji's legs when you were asking if what? When I was asking if what? Okay, said when I was asking when I was asking if there is APC, if the APC's policies are not yielding fruits. Which fruits are you talking about? When it is glaring even to the blind that nothing seems to be working right now. Tony Anele, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And then MKO, the living one, says Nigeria is just a geographical expression. It's not a nation. Well, it is a nation. I beg to differ. Firstly, they have lost their first priority. Secondly, they lost their cultural value, respect. We have lost it all. That's what you're saying. Well, unfortunately, I don't think we have. TC from Ojo says, from 2015 till date, APC and the political rulers they have been busy milking Nigerians' borrowings as much as since they grabbed. All right, let me just leave that message. Please kindly make your words very friendly to read. Media friendly, I mean. And all right, Chinedu from Alabas International Market says, God will bless your guests abundantly. You see, this present government, I don't know who they give them advice. Instead of them to do the needful, they keep on chasing shadows. Everybody knows what's transpired in 2023 election. And those are praising this government. May God favor all of us. Well, he said so. And then good evening, Precious, and your guests in the studio. As for British journalists lambasting Nigeria, I don't blame them because they spoke the truth. Isn't in the same UK that one archdeacon called Nigeria fantastically corrupt. Archdeacon, you don't know who said that. May God bless us. May God bless them for calling us. May God bless them for calling a spade a spade. Sahid Barawa sent in that message. Dayo from Fagba says, if Wike can confidently say they will overturn the judgment of the court, which removed the 27 lawmakers, it's because he has the formula of this Ogatinubu, that woman. Okay. Well, Dayo, now I cannot read all of this, right? Hello, Precious. How are you doing today? Thanks for the good job, Ekene. Thank you, Ekene. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And okay, good evening, Precious. 90 billion naira for Hajj is not much after all. Only a politician can pay each from either 109 billion naira or 84 billion naira already stolen. And don't forget, in 2 months' time, another pilgrimage is to Israel, and maybe that time we'll not do 100 billion a subsidy. UK is broke and shall not entertain any damage or compensation. That idea is an illusion. God loves us, but Nigeria hates themselves. Prince from Kita sent in that message. And then this messenger says, good evening, Precious. I want to report a very dubious act by members of BRT task force on Eko Bridge. Every morning they intentionally cause, I think you've said this before, but I'm going to look at how I'll invite the Lagos PRO, first police PRO, for the Lagos Police Command PRO, and narrate this incident and other incidents to him. I'll see if I can invite him sometime next week, please, because we really need to discuss these issues. You're talking about how BRT buses cause artificial traffic jam on the bridge, that is Eko Bridge, and and ignorant Lagosians who don't know the marked lane drives into it for them to be stopped and extorted by them, instead of police to signboard before the bridge to notify people. They sent touts to snap cars and then sent to them so that they will go and also extort from the people. Paul sent in this message. You have sent in this message before. I think this is the second time I'm saying this. And then you said, this message says they should allow our president to listen to the insult by the UK journalists. Maybe that can motivate them to work better and give us what they promised us in Nigeria. Abi? Robert then says, Nigeria is funny country. We must hear something bitter or funny every day. No, now that's not true. Nigerians are not to blame. Blame INEC and other issues. Ima from Ejimo sent in that message. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. So, Dr. Deji, if you can hear me, before I go straight to my step down conversation, which is a tradition on this show, let me take your parting shot on all the conversations and the reactions from Nigerians.
Well, what I can say as regards the letter to the people that were to go for Hajj is, number one, it shows our priority, and it shows that we are not a serious people as a country. Because if you are worth 90 billion, my sister, 90 billion to a particular religion, for people to go to Hajj in a particular religion, at least in Nigeria, there are 3 main religions. That means that you must have it in mind that you would allot like 270 billion. Because have you kept the 90 billion of the Christians?
Wallahi.
Because they too will want to go to Jerusalem.
And the equation must be
for their own, for the version of their own Hajj. The traditional worshippers that do their own traditional festivals, the Egungun, the Oshun, the Oshugbos and all that, have you keep their own 90 billion for equity and for justice? Okay, what about the atheists? People that don't believe in any religion, that don't want to practice any religion, that don't even believe there is God. Have you kept their own 90 billion too to make it 30 billion? You see, we are not a serious country. You budget 10 billion for student loan. You budget 90 billion for religious pilgrimage. And at the end of the day, you will now say you have fanatics in your country. You will now say you have Boko Haram in your country, and you are trying to battle it. You will now say you have extreme Christians in your country. You say you have extremists in your country that are Muslims or Christians or traditional worshippers. And if you don't give other people that kind of amount, you now say there's religious disharmony. How will there be harmony? Because the Christian Association of Nigeria, now they are warming up to collect their own 90 billion. No? That is the truth. And if you don't give them, it's problem. If you give them 50 billion, it's problem. So why are we like this in this country? When does religion become a statecraft? That you need to sponsor people to go and worship their God, to go and perform pilgrimage. You know, the money that should be used to provide infrastructure, that is wrong. But I must not go without touching on this guy, this Senegalese guy that said he can rely on Tinubu's wisdom. Oh my God, I pity him. I pity him. He can rely on Tinubu's wisdom on one part. Tinubu is a man that is a political mathematician. If you look at his emergence as president, give it to him. He's a great political strategist. It's not like Atiku that contests per seconds without doing his own work. He waited for Buhari 8 years. Used his money, his political clout, everything he has to back Buhari. Even when Buhari did not, show him, political love as he should during his first term. When Buhari wanted to go for second term, he supported him again. He is waiting. And when Buhari was to leave, he said, Egbe kini wa emi lokan. He's telling you, bring it. It is me, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is next in line. And he got it. He contested just once. And he grabbed the ticket. Let's give it to him. But the truth is, if you say you want to rely on his wisdom, that means very soon in your country, you will be a political godfather that will be dictating who becomes governor. That means you will hold your country by the jugular. Just as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, has held Lagos by the jugular since he became governor in 1999, and everybody that has become governor in Lagos State, he literally has the key to hire and fire such person. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants Sanwo-Olu removed tomorrow morning, he's a gunner. That means the guy should be ready to be a political emperor in his country too. That means the guy should be ready during election to be going around with bullion vans. I'm not criticizing the president. I'm using public data, public information. That means the guy should be ready to be going around with bullion van, in his country. So I don't think he has enough information, or maybe he's desperate to align with Nigeria as the giant of Africa in terms of population, not in terms of infrastructure, not in terms of security, but in terms of population. We are still the giant of Africa. And if you go by the law of economics, whenever there is people, there is market. So Nigeria is a very good, profitable market for anybody that is serious with doing business in Africa or any serious African government. So maybe the guy is desperate to align with Nigeria. That is why I said he can rely on the wisdom of Tinubu. If you want to rely on the wisdom of Tinubu, does he know the unemployment rate in Nigeria?
Thank you.
Does he know the poverty rate in Nigeria?
Thank you,
Does he know security? Precious, give me small time now. Does he know the insecurity rate in Nigeria? Okay. Does he know the poverty rate in Nigeria? Does he know what people are going through? Does he know the kind of electioneering system we have in Nigeria? Let's be sincere with ourselves. So he needs to, I think, the Senegalese president handlers needs to do their research well and guide him before making comment. Does he really want to be a Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I cast doubt, sincerely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Deji. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
I do hope that you would also oblige me next time when I call.
I will. I'm
Thank
lawyer.
you. I like. Don't call me that name. When you say your lawyer, I know the next name. Don't say it on air. Don't say it.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Deji. Wishing you an amazing weekend. Thank you. Bye. All right, Lagos, let's go straight to our step down conversation. So on our step down conversation this evening, just so that I can rush it quickly, for you to begin to send in your messages. So a sister sent me a message and says, I am the first daughter of my family and abstained from school to hustle to train my younger ones. I did train all 3 of my younger ones, were 4 in the family. I didn't want to get married so that I won't be distracted about their care and that of my parents. And in my 50s now, and all my younger siblings are married and doing well, but I couldn't get married nor have a child of my own. My sister's child who lives with me was just retrieved by her mother, my younger sister, because I scolded her and seized her phone for spending 5 hours on a 1-hour errand. As I noticed, she always communicates with some boys she visits. She's 19 and I'm waiting to get into university. I feel so bad that my sister does not trust my judgment on her daughter. Is it because I don't have my own child? I'm beginning to regret spending my time and my entire life taking care of my younger ones. Lagos, what should she do? That's a step down conversation. After the break, we'll be right back very quickly. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
From the views on the street,
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things and makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Yes, Lagos, you are welcome back. It is still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. So unfortunately, we'll have less than 10 minutes to attend to this step-down conversation, right? But let's get to it because this sister is listening and she needs your advice. What do you think she should do? Hello, good evening to you.
Good evening, Precious.
Jova Step Down, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Precious.
Welcome. Go ahead.
It's very simple. She should not regret that she has not had her own day.
She what? Sorry?
She should not regret that she doesn't have her own baby.
Okay.
So what she should do is very simple. If the girl is becoming impossible, did you say the girl's mom is alive?
Yes, her sister she's alive. Yes, according to her. Said the mother is the one who retrieved the child. Perhaps because she feels her sister is maltreating her.
Okay, they feel she's maltreating her.
Yes.
The next question I would have asked her is it true? Is she really maltreating her?
Well, from the message, she said she noticed the sister's child spends almost 4 or 5 hours on just a 1 hour errand. Like perhaps she sends her to buy something. She stays longer. And then she noticed some communication with some young men on her phone. So she seized her phones and you know how you ground the child and all that, and the sister thinks that's too harsh.
That becomes maltreatment to the mother, right?
That's exactly.
So it's very simple, Precious. My experience in life shows that no woman can take care of another baby as if she or he were her own child.
Haba.
Now that this problem is coming up, what she should do is very simple. Send the girl away. Send the girl back to her parents.
The mother has already taken her. She has called her back already. That's the point.
Okay, if the question she's asking is if she has done the right thing or not, she has done the right thing because the Bible said you spare the rod, you spoil the child. How can you be with a child in the house who will do a simple house chore for more than 5 hours and who is always busy chatting with whom you don't know? That means the child is losing control.
So do you think the sister was ungrateful, really? Or is ungrateful?
It is that she looks, from the part of this story, she looks ungrateful. That's what it looks like, because it's obvious that the mom cannot take care of that girl. For her to withdraw the girl will get worse in the hand of the mom.
All right, thank you so much.
In as much as she is not her daughter, she is supposed to be her niece. Am I correct?
Yes, her niece. Yes.
So if the sister can no longer trust her own sister to take care of her own child, then she should let go.
Thank you so much. Let's have the conversation. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hello, good evening. Hello. Yes, welcome. No, don't do this. We don't have the time for this. Please, when you call, turn down the volume of your radio set. Okay. So this messenger says, for the step down, what's a pity? It's one of the realities of life. My advice to her is that she should be strong and look unto God and dedicate her time to worship, the worship of God. This is coming from Barawa Sahid. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Mr. Charlatan, calling from Apple.
Can you help me increase the volume of your voice? Give some energy to your voice, please.
Yes. Let me loud it.
Okay.
I'm calling from I'm Mr. Olatubosun.
Mr. Olatubosun.
I need to ask.
Okay.
Yes. The first question I need to ask is, did the lady married at all?
No, she said she did not get married at the time marriage was coming because she didn't want distraction from taking care of her siblings and parents.
That is not somebody's fault. It is our own fault. So you should not just shift the blame to anybody. What stops you when your younger ones are being married and you said you are doing what? What is it doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, wow.
I don't even pity her at all. Except if I didn't think she married and she's struggling to get a child. Unfortunately, she did not get it. I can pity her. But he said, look, in Yoruba Adi, she's doing herself.
Please interpret, sir.
What she's doing.
Interpret that thing you said, sir.
Pardon?
Interpret that thing you said in Yoruba,
Pardon?
sir. Interpret what you said in Yoruba language, sir.
Look, you cannot leave your load and be carrying another person's load. So that is just
but that is the same thing she did that has ensured that all her siblings are doing well now. So that means she did herself.
Yes, they will. Because it leaves our own responsibility, carrying another people's responsibility. Know how you can treat. Yes, that is the truth, and nothing but the truth. I cannot leave my own property to another person something. Look, what do they call it? The children is part of life. That is what is going to make you enjoy your life at the end of your day. Now the mother has retrieved. What is the next thing? What is the next line of action? Nothing. So he said all those ones that is saying is story. Because if she is good enough by herself, she has to marry. Nothing stop her from taking care of her sickness or something like that. That because of that she didn't marry, she didn't get children. So okay, what is the result now? What is that gain now?
Thank you. Oh my goodness, that's a bit harsh. But thank you so much. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, baby, be careful if you can hear, sweetheart. If you can hear, I don't know. And this says, why is she crying again? If the girl is with her mother, what is she asking us to tell her? Let the girl be with her mom if she wants to get belle there. Make she get belle. So because of siblings, you no marry. Waiting concern federal government for this man. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening, Madam Precious.
Yes, you're welcome. Akuchinyere, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, very quickly, please.
Yes, I wanted to say she should check. She should try to check if she's still a virgin. Though the girl is no longer with her again, I think she should look for a way to adopt her own child so that she can have someone to call her own child in future. Okay, if time is no longer on her side to get married again. That is what I have to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night. And it's actually good night. Thank you, Lagos, for being part of this conversation, and thank you for being part of the show. My name is Precious Enyi, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday, and I cannot wait to see you on Monday. Thanks to Dr. Deji, my guest. He's a doctor of political science. Always awesome and amazing to hear from him, and get to listen to his very, very eye-opening analysis. I appreciate him, and thanks to everyone who's been part of the show. I appreciate you all, and I love you. Whatever you do, find out time to rest and enjoy yourself this weekend. You know, say wahala need to finish, right? Catch me across all social media platforms on Instagram at Precious Enyi TV. On Instagram at Precious Enyi Official. On Twitter is Precious_Enyi. Facebook is Precious Enyi. And of course, on YouTube is Precious Enyi TV. Precious is spelled Precious and Enyi is Enyi. It means friend, by the way. And I love to be your friend. So it's Precious Enyi TV on YouTube. I'll see you again on Monday, God willing. Have yourself an amazing evening. I leave you with this beautiful song. Good night.